Welcome, my dear friends. This is actually a re-recording of the webinar I did yesterday about sacred space and sacred time. As you all know, it was my very first webinar. Epic fail on the technology department, however, as I had everybody's faces across the screen and I didn't realize that I was not only just recording myself, but all of you. And particularly for my Australian friends, as you all know I am Australian, I'm redoing this again so that I can put it on Facebook, not Facebook, on YouTube, so that you may all see what transpired. But let's start together by inhaling, drawing down into our hearts from the heavens above, reaching down to our divine earth and drawing up into our heart and residing in that space of love, of bliss. Let's begin with a definition of sacred. What is it? It's an adjective. It means worthy or regarded with reverence, with awe, with respect, holy, divine. And what is sacred space? Well, sacred space is any area or space that's been dedicated to a holy purpose. An emphasis on sacred space is found in all of the world's religions and traditions, and they all have places set aside that they use for prayer, for worship, for great ritual. The name of this space differs according to the tradition: mosque, synagogue, temple, or out in nature. As you know, that is one of my favorite places. However, the point, my dear friends, remains the same. It is a place where believers can gather, where we may encounter the divine in a very special, powerful way. Sacred space can be quiet. It can be inspiring for rituals like meditation and yoga. And those of you who know me well know that I start every day of my life with a short meditation, followed by yoga. And in this way, I feel my day is seeded and infused and I'm ready to go. It is a place where you can work your magic. So for those of you on my magic or witchcraft course, you know how much I love casting a spell and drawing what I'm looking for into my life. It can be a place in your home or outside in nature where you may feel more connected to what is meaningful in your life. Now, I'm here to tell you something. You, my dear friends, you are sacred space. Your body houses your soul, and your soul is sacred. So therefore, you are sacred space. And your body is your temple. And I am inviting you here and now to be your own kind of beautiful. I sit here in front of you, 57 years of age, no makeup, no hair dye, an old yoga top. Be who you are. Learn to love and live in your own skin. We live in a culture where we are drawn by the advertising, by the television, by the devices, by the gadgets that tell us how to behave, how to think, how to do. Well, don't do that. Be you. Be your own kind of beautiful, knowing that you are sacred. Now, how about sacred space on the outer? If you are having trouble with this inner, create a circle and let's look at creating sacred space in your environment. For this allows you to express your very human need for ongoing spiritual nourishment, for empowerment, and it reminds you constantly of your divinity. For we are divine masculine, we are divine feminine, seated within all of our being, as is everything we encounter in nature, our friends, our foes, everything. We are all part of the same divine spark. However, you can reseed this within you by creating sacred space in your home, at work, or in a third space such as a hotel room when you are traveling, or outside in nature. Now, this sacred space of yours can house just a single object, such as a statue, a crystal, a gemstone, an altar. You deliberately create in a special location for a specific purpose. So, for example, we celebrated the first feast here, the first harvest feast, a couple of days ago in Sweden. So I went out and I plucked blackberries, I baked a loaf of bread to consecrate, to pray for the harvest and all that it gives us. Most people thought that I was a bit odd, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'm happy. And they actually, they were smiling inside. They were genuinely happy that they had been reminded that this was in fact a very special day of the year. If you are like me, your entire home can become a sacred space. Consciously arranged furnishings, objects and decor that hold meaning for you. This means if you've got Auntie Rose's ugly statue, or you've got something that just landed in your house and you would have no heart attachment to it, it is clutter. It weighs you down, it causes depression, it drags you, it fills your space with things that you don't need. Get rid of it. Let it go, dear ones. Let it go. You don't need it. So, what does sacred mean for you? What does spiritual mean for you? Think about this. I have found that with a divine connection, that I am more centered, grounded, and authentically happy. However, your definition of what is sacred to you is as unique as your thumbprint. Yet unlike your thumbprint, this expression evolves and it changes as you grow in time. I know mine certainly has over the years, and I know and expect that it will continue to do so. When I first started on my spiritual journey many years ago, objects, things held the sacred energy, and I would scour all those amazing shops to find crystals, and I would spend hours picking them up and seeing what resonated with me, buy it, race home, put it on my altar. And again, those of you who are in my magical witchcraft course know how much I love my swords and my wands and my cauldrons, but you also know that I say we need none of these things. And increasingly in my life, I'm not limited, sacred is not limited to the objects or things in my environment, but the sacred lives in my thoughts, my feelings too. However, if you have collected these objects, don't let them be clutter. They have their own life force, and it is incumbent upon you to feed that life force, to love it, to care for it. And if you don't, find a good home for it is not meant to be in your home. Now know that your spirituality is an evolution. It is your journey, and if you look into your heart to see that soul thought, it will reveal itself to you the right step. I urge you to follow it and allow your spiritual practice to change and evolve as you do, for sooner or later, something will call. It will say, come here, walk on this particular path. This is what I must do. This is who I am. And I say to you, if you tell me what you are yearning for, you have simply gifted the answer as to who you are. And another little tip while we're here, before you go to sleep at night, give up your day. Give it up. Everything. Your family, the bills, the good, the bad, everything that happened, give it up so that you may go to sleep empty. Give it to Great Spirit to deal with. Go to sleep empty, that you may wake full of hope, peace, and love in the morning. Now, let's move along to what your sacred space is going to provide you with. Have you thought about it? I'm talking to you. Have you really thought about it? Don't just randomly think I've got to race out and do this. Design it. Create your list. Are you creating an exterior space? Are you creating an interior space? What is the purpose? What is it going to provide? How are you going to use it? Do you want, say, for example, to create a private sanctuary for meditation and prayer, or simply for quiet reflection? Maybe there is simply an outside chair that you can sit under a tree and sit and breathe in the tree's energy and love. Are you looking to find serenity at home? Are you looking to amplify your health, your vitality, your wellness? Are you looking to design a space for connecting with others, for ritual, for ceremony? So, for example, I'm in Sweden at the moment, so I don't have a lot of my playthings, but at home, in both our city home and at the farm, in our backyard, or the front yard at the farm, we have a fire pit, and every single full moon, people are invited to come and sit around this fire pit, and we perform great ceremony for the full moon. We also do it often at the new moon, but particularly every full moon is a ritual, and this fire pit remains, and you simply walk by it, and you see and feel the seeds of the dreams, the hope that has been seeded there. Are you looking to create a family altar that continuously evolves with spontaneous contributions from each member? So, for example, we had one as my sons were growing up. My eldest son is a bit of a control freak, and we would come back from the beach or the park, and he would line up seeds, leaves, shells. My youngest son, I'm the middle one now, being the oldest and shortest, I guess. My youngest son is messy, and he would just throw things on. This didn't go well with the eldest son, so he divided the altar into 3. He had the front clean space, his brother had a space, and then there was my space. It worked, and it was fluid, and it moved. So, for example, one time when my eldest was he wanted to ask a girl out and he was feeling shy. So he drew a heart and he put a flower on it and dedicated it to her name. And guess what? It happened for him. If it is in your highest interest, it will. If it isn't, it won't. What about the family, the table, deepen your intimacy through a regular family time in a special place? For us, this is the dining table. It is round, but it extends out into a long oval, more rectangular at times, with round edges, because sometimes I feed up to 13, 14 people. And that's always a lot of fun. But this is a very sacred, divine place for us. I make sure, and everybody who sets the table knows, that every fork, every knife, every plate, everything is set with divine intention. The candles, the flowers, the food, all is prepared with love seeded in our heart. And we talk for hours and hours, and it is a wonderful, connected, love-filled time for our family. And it also means that we never have time for television. That's not a bad thing, really. And that's not a bad thing, is it? So look at what you need and how it should seed within you. Cultivate your own deep connection with the divine. Express yourself actively. Look where and how. Make your sacred space personal. Choose the sounds, the smells, the looks, the feels that are heavenly to you. I invite you to activate all of your senses when you're planning your sacred space. Choose the objects that give you energy, that inspire you, and help you to get fully immersed in your sacred space. In love and light, blessed be. Next time I do a webinar, I'm going to absolutely record it live. True. See you next time. Sharon Ramel.